What's up, y'all? As you can see, we are definitely not out at the range today. I'm actually out here on my back porch just because I had some good lighting out here, a lot better than the inside anyway, trying to get this video here done. What I got for you here is just gonna be a quick little review video on this gun cabinet, I call it, from Vevor. They actually sent me an email wanting to know if I wanted to check this thing out, so they sent this to me. I didn't purchase this. They sent this to me to do a review on. Again, it's a firearm cabinet. They call it a safe box. Now, it's definitely not a safe, like no kind of fireproofing or anything like that. Not high security. It's more along the lines of the thinner cabinet, security type cabinets like the Stack-On brand. I've seen several brand of these actually now that I've started looking at this stuff. Maybe a little bit more secure than that, but again, nothing like a big heavy fire safe. It's probably gonna be a little bit tricky getting everything in view for y'all since I'm taller than this thing is. So I'll give you some rough measurements here first, and then maybe I'll pick you up and give you some different angles. So as far as the actual height on this, it's not real short. I'm just kind of a tall guy. I'm 6'3". This is actually 54 inches. So you're looking at what, 4 feet, 6, 7 inches basically. So that's your height on it there. As far as the width, you're looking at 20 inches roughly. And then the depth on it, you're looking at 16 inches. Now it is constructed from cold rolled steel, but again, it's not a super heavy duty fire rated type safe. You know, you're talking a couple $100 versus $1,000. So it's a difference there. But this is pretty decent as far as a security cabinet. Now you do have to assemble this yourself. I just tell you now, the front panel, the door and the frame and all this is one unit, but the sides and the back and the front and the bottom, you do have to assemble this yourself with screws. Nothing complicated at all. Like I say, it's just a bunch of screws basically. Takes you like half an hour. I do like that the way this is constructed, there's several different little lips going in different angles, so it goes together in a particular way. I believe that's supposed to be for pry resistance, you know, just to keep somebody from basically just prying the panel just straight from apart from each other. You can't just simply do that. But now again, if you had sledgehammers and tools and pry bars and all that, you're eventually going to get into this just like any other kind of security cabinet or safe. If you've got enough time and enough tools, you're going to get into it. Now real quick, as far as what they send you with it, of course you got the little manual here to put it together, an instruction manual. It does have a set of backup keys, so 2 backup keys, and then another little bag of goodies here. This is actually a power bank here, a power box, so in case your battery runs out and you don't have your key or whatever, you're still not locked out. And then you got just some extra hardware, some mounting hardware to mount it to the wall and floor, some extra screws, and then some little accessory hangers. You'll see here in a minute what those are for. You get 5 of those little accessory hangers. So as I'm sure y'all have already noticed, the keypad here, that's of course one of the ways to get into this thing. You've got a keypad with several different codes you can have. I think it's 3 to 6, maybe 3 to 8 digits, something like that, but programmable different codes. And then you've got a flap here that you can pop off. That's your key entrance in case you don't have a code or your battery's gone or whatever. And then up under here is a little jack where you can hook in that little power pack that I showed you in case you don't have the code or the key or whatever the case might be. So the usual way to get into it obviously is with your code. So you enter your code here and then hit the pound and then just spin your wheel. That moves your bolts. Now you'll notice you got 2 bolts right here and you've got a bolt on the top and the bottom. So if I spin it there, I know you can't see the one on the bottom, but you can see the one on the top and the 2 on the side. So you got 4 different bolts on the door here. The door is a double or triple thickness even. So as you can see there, that's your door. Now the sides and the top and the bottom and the rest of this is just a single panel of the rolled steel, but this is a double thickness. Front of the door here, you can see you got your little holders here for your handguns. Down at the bottom, you got a couple little elastics for mags, a couple little pouches down here. Now I believe they call the capacity on this 10 to 12 rifles. Y'all know how that is though. You could get them in there, absolutely, if you stuffed them in there, stacked them on top of each other, but it's just like any other security cabinet and safe that I've seen. They really overestimate the capacity if you've got any kind of optics and all that stuff on them. But here's a little closer look at your door with your pouches. What do you got there? 5 pouches there, and then on the bottom there's your little Velcro straps and pouches down at the bottom. Now, like I mentioned, you've got those 4 bolts, and then on the hinge side, you've got these plates here that actually wrap around the back. So again, nothing super Fort Knox type security, but it's not just a simple grab it and tear the panel straight off. Now, if we take a look inside, the first thing you'll notice, you got a metal shelf up there up top. So put whatever you want, some ammo, different pouches or whatever. And then further on down there, you can see you've got the little square peg wall slot wall, whatever you want to call it. Not really slots, but that's where your little foam holders, your barrel separators lock in. You can see you got the little tabs on the back. Now, these little holes, it's kind of like a slat wall system. If you get these where you know you're going to leave them there, you've got little pegs included they give you where you can put them in there so it don't just pop up on you. You do have some adjustability involved here. You can take that shelf completely out if you want. These can be moved, obviously, anywhere on that little pegboard thing there. All of that is steel, too. I'm just calling it pegboard. These side ones, the same here with the slots. You can take those off if you didn't want those. Here in the back, you can see one of those little hooks I showed you. Again, they send you 5 of these, so whatever kind of little accessories, if you got stuff you want to hang. And then another quick look back at the door. Obviously, this is your battery compartment, and you can see they've actually got a little LED light there. They tried to give you a little bit of lighting, but as you can see, it's kind of just really focused. So you would, if you're looking to like be opening this and looking through and digging through a lot of stuff, you would probably want some kind of light in here. But as you can see, as I move the door, it would give you enough light in the middle of the dark to grab something and get out of here with it. But again, in my opinion, you're probably going to want some additional light. So let me show you right quick some of the storage options. This is my main bump in the night type of grabbing AR. This is where you have the problems with their capacity. You'll notice here, or you might not be able to notice, but I'll bring you in closer. I can't even get the barrel to rest in that little loop there because of the LPVO on the top. I've got that turret on the top of the LPVO there. So as you can see, really my option here, which I would take, would be right there. I would rest it on the side right there. So as you can see, that's already taken up, you know, an extra slot right there that they had probably counted on. Now, stuff without an optic and without big mags or something like that, not near as an issue. You can see the Maverick 88 here, boom, it clicks right in there. So if you had something like that, you could just stack them, you know, over and over and over, and you probably would easily get 10 to 12. Another example here just happens to be in the midst of me doing some stuff. So this one don't have an optic at all. So if you just had like some backup iron sights, you would have no problem. You could also, again, just stack them right on in there. See, you want them little pegs, but you can see that stacks on in there. You can just keep on stacking them. Another one here, it's got the carry handle. You're gonna have the same problem as the LPVO. Once you get here, it's all right, but that carry handle's already hitting the back. So you can see there's no way my barrel, even if I move this thing up here, my barrel wouldn't rest in a little notch. Now, another one that you won't have any problem with are your lever actions here. As you can see, the little skinny guys, they fit right on in there, no problem at all. I mean, you could definitely stack 10 or 12 of those in there. And then, of course, if you got some shorties here, you got the PS90 for this little example, you can use your side ones there and just click those right into the side. So in this case, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I could easily put 7, 8, 9. I could probably comfortably get 8 in there where I would be comfortable with them. If I stuffed them, I could definitely get 10 or 12. And then as far as the handguns, again, you know, you can put 5 of those right there. I did notice this one right here, and I've noticed this in a couple of my actual safes too. They line up with some of the places where the shelves go right with this, so you really have to have like a mini up in these two, but then you've got the other ones down here, so you can see no problem with those. Then of course, like I mentioned before, you've got your slots down there if you want to stick your mags or whatever. So decent little storage space on this thing for what it is. And then here's your close-up look of how I've got them stacked in there and what I'm talking about as far as how much room you got or whatever. You can see that Maverick 88, it fits in there fine. This right here fits in there fine, but this right here, even if I put it up there, the post ain't holding it. It's the actual carry handle down at the bottom. And then this one, obviously, you can see the turret hits right there. So you definitely got to do some kind of working around if you've got things with optics or big mags or big accessories and stuff. But if you had a bunch of skinny minis, you could definitely max it out. But that's what you're looking at with this Vevor security cabinet. One other little thing I did want to mention too that I forgot in the beginning, it's got an audible alarm on this too that you can turn on, and with after 3 wrong attempts at the code or a big jarring motion, it sets off a little local audible alarm. I believe you just hit the star for that. So like I say, has to be a pretty big jar, or if you do 3 wrong codes in a row, And then to turn it off, obviously, you just enter your code and then you're right back in business. So once again, the Vevor 10 to 12 security cabinet. Again, this is definitely not a fire rated heavy duty safe. So in my case, this is probably not something that I would actually have a use or need for, but I can see the need for this. What I see this being best used for is if you're in a place where by law you have to keep your stuff locked up, or you've got some smaller ones around, or just anybody that you don't want having just easy pickup type access to. You know, we always see these little small little safes, little handgun type security safes, but very rarely do people think about, you know, their long stuff like their ARs for defense, their shotties for defense. You know, if you don't want to leave a handgun laying on a nightstand, I'm sure you're the same type of person who wouldn't want to leave a shoddy sitting up in the corner of the room. So in cases like that, I could definitely see this being useful. It's somewhere to keep your stuff secure enough to keep it out of grabby hands, but still quick enough to get by just entering that code and opening the door and grabbing it right out. But if any of y'all are interested in something like this or have a need for something like this, I will leave an affiliate link down in the video description. I noticed when I was checking this thing out to do this video, there are several different brands of this. I assume they're very, very similar. Some of them a little bit more, some of them a little bit less. I can't really tell you how this compares to those because I hadn't looked at those, but I did notice there were quite a few of them out there. But if you do enjoy my videos, if you would take a second, reach down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload stuff. Again, if you are doing some shopping, hit up those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you get after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them toward the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Again, a big thanks to my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I know this right here wasn't the most interesting, but it's something that maybe somebody has a use for, so I figured I'd do a little review video on it. I've got some really good stuff coming this weekend, so y'all stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.